Woo!
My.
Normally we're just going 100 miles a minute, not really paying attention when the microphones actually start.
Sure.
But this time we really took our time and we said, let's let Connor do his thing.
Yeah. Well,
And
we
we
did
did.
spend about 40 minutes deciding what side of the room to sit on.
That's true.
Deliberating kind of open.
You know what I
versus
love about
closed.
it is that you guys are looking at me.
Right.
And
I
so it's kind of
figured-
all about me.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I kind of figured this was why you put us here.
No, it wasn't. It was because I've been on the side where the guest is next to me. We've done it where the guest is there and it's us two.
Sure.
So now it's time.
So the reason there's turmoil is actually for a happy reason, which is we have a guest in the studio,
We have a guest.
Ash.
Ash.
Oh my god.
He's
I'm thrilled
here.
to be here. Thank you for I'm glad to be sitting in the middle of y'all. This feels great to me. I haven't seen the other seating arrangements, but this feels good.
This,
Superior.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say this feels right to me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Glad to be
all
aligned.
on the same page.
Yeah, totally.
So the big reveal that we have to share at the top of this episode is that Ash Diggs, aside from being an amazing comedian, is also our very first straight
Yeah.
male guest.
I'm pretty sure. as of now.
Oh, I didn't want to assume anything before I said it, but that is the
But
big
you want to
reveal.
guess
And
on
also
camera.
answer carefully.
But
on
I
this
did want to guess on
podcast. And careful with that response.
Straight. Period.
You know, as much as anything can be straight at this in 2025, which
Of
is
course.
not
Yeah.
much, but there's still rare breeds out there, and you're one of them.
Well, I mean, it feels, good to be here, to be talking to y'all on behalf of us.
The community.
In your natural habitat, in the straight man's natural habitat of in front of a microphone.
podcast studio.
Yeah.
Mic pointed at my face.
Yeah.
Totally. You're at
talking
home,
to
baby.
I'm talking to y'all.
Two
yeah.
queens on my left and right. What could be better,
Your
y'all?
words, not mine, but certainly my thoughts.
Well, how are you, Isabelle?
How am I?
Yeah, how are you?
It's fine. I was revealing to Carey moments before this that like the doom and gloom of New York is like officially starting to weigh on me in a concerning way.
Oh no, in a concerning way.
Yeah, I just need,
As opposed to before, it wasn't a concerning way.
of course, yeah. Like my normal state is totally fine. No news there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
chill.
even
Yeah.
easy. People are kind of always commenting on my sunny demeanor. And now I'm like, things aren't looking so good. I need to see the sun. Like,
oh, you're
stacked.
you don't like this gray.
No, I need to
You don't like this
photosynthesize.
gray.
That's like a
Oh.
pretty important. I run cold generally, hence my
Anorak
winter
in June.
garb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My-
that looks like fleece.
Yeah, hence my 80s ski chalet outfit that I've decided to boldly wear to a basement studio indoors in June.
I think it looks amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, Burlington chic in honor of our guest.
Very Vermont. I love
Wow.
that.
Was Burlington Coat Factory made in Burlington?
I'm almost certain no.
Oh,
But it never comes up in Burlington. But whenever I tell people that I lived in Burlington, it is top 3 questions.
that's so
I'm
fair.
familiar with Burlington's work. Yes, the coats of it
Their
all.
coat
I'm
factory,
familiar
yeah.
with the coats and the other garments that they have there.
Yes.
At the factory.
Burlington
Yeah.
shirtwaist.
Burlington Shirtwaist Fire.
Burlington Shirtwaist
Yeah,
Fire.
one of the more famous
Yeah.
fires.
And hey, shout out to the victims.
Shout out.
Yeah,
out.
no, seriously, we
Y'all
think
are
about them
good.
every day.
It just happened.
Yeah. Brand new.
Buried in the news cycle, obviously, just because,
There's
in
a lot
light of
going
it all.
on. Bernie endorsed
In light of it
around,
all.
and that
Totally.
kind of killed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it killed the fire news. So
Damn.
Do you
Wait,
need
so
to- oh, no, go
when did you arrive to Burlington? Like, what was your
Mm.
path? You didn't grow up in Burlington.
I didn't know. Both my parents were military, so I bounced around a lot
Cool.
growing up. And then I was supposed to. So I was living in New Orleans. I went to college in New Orleans, and I was going to come here for grad school at NYU. Like, moved here and everything, and then approximately 2 weeks before school was supposed to start, financial aid asked me to come in, and they were like, "Hey, there was like a mistake with your package. Like, it's actually this number."
There's a mistake with your package. Couldn't have couldn't be a worse
I was
piece
like,
of news.
Wait, this
y'all, I
was-
moved here 3 months. Like, I moved here with basically enough money to pay for rent for 3 months until like my financial aid dispersal.
Mhm.
And then 2 weeks before school, like I was like eating next to nothing.
Oh my
Like it
God.
was a mess. And then found out NYU wasn't gonna happen. Playwriting dreams dashed.
Wait, so you were
Uh,
gonna go to grad school to be a playwright?
Yeah.
Okay, chic.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
I would have been a whole different guy.
Yeah, you would have been totally different.
Had I known, I would have brought us hand-rolled cigarettes.
Just
to hold.
Yeah, yeah, I can't smoke down here.
Just to
but-
be near.
but
Yeah,
we can
no,
vibe,
just to
yeah.
have the aura of
Everyone
them.
gets one behind their ear. Just for looking.
And it would look great. But no, so that didn't work out. And the person I dated throughout college, she had moved to Burlington and had visited here like before I found out that I wasn't going to NYU. And we like broke up because we were going to different places. But then when I wasn't going to NYU, I was like, well, should we
Psych.
get back together? I went up to Burlington, started doing stand-up. Relationship didn't work out, if you
Yikes.
can believe it.
Yeah.
What the heck? And now I'm here. But so I was in Burlington for about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Huh.
as a non-college student.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like right after I got to Burlington, it was actually September 11th, 2017, is when the train arrived.
Sure.
So kind of
Never
hard
forget.
to forget exactly what date I got there.
Yeah.
And I left in 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. it's a
And that's
good
where you
time.
started doing stand up.
Yeah, I had done stand up once or twice in New Orleans when I was in college, but
Mm.
then Vermont was where I like started in earnest.
Oh, So you
yeah.
had a different education for 4 years of on the ground stand up.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, and that is school.
It was school. It was like, I mean, getting to start. I would recommend everyone start stand up in Burlington, Vermont, because it's
Well,
just
it's
the
too late for
sweetest
that.
people. I would say go back. Never too late to start.
Why did I
again.
start it in
Set
New
the
York,
clocks
New
back.
York?
I just, Carey, I don't know your journey, but I will say if you wanted to turn the clock back, we could just start again in Vermont. I'll go with you.
I do think that I've not done it for so long that I'm actually like born again non-stand up.
We could
now.
baptize you.
So I could go
Yeah.
back there, and I think I would be a real hit
Yeah.
up in Vermont.
Oh my
I actually
God.
sincerely think you would.
Thank
I don't know if we're
you.
playing like the game of the podcast right now, but I think you really
We're not. There's
would
no
be.
game.
Oh,
Well, the
excuse
game,
me.
no, the game is the game. The game is generally like stroke each other's ego
Oh.
until
The
game
is
is-
someone passes out.
How
Okay.
annoying can each of us be individually
Right.
at the same time collectively together?
Yeah,
is
and
the
hopefully
game.
it cancels
We
each
can
other
ratchet
out to
that.
create something that's like palatable a little bit.
Harmonious even.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
So actually, you're doing a perfect job.
Oh, cool.
This
It's
is the
kinda
game.
like jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little scat. It's a little.
Can I interject to say that I was served one of my own TikToks. This happens sometimes when
Whoa.
I don't know. It's like they tell you that it's there, and then they're like, you could put money behind this and get
Oh
more views or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't know how anyone listened to that whole thing, and it was like truly 30 seconds
All
of just
30
me
seconds of
talking.
it.
But I'm like, I saw it for 1 second and was like, I literally screamed.
Oh.
Like, it was so horrible.
Well, that's like when our own podcast comes on shuffle and I'm in the car and I'm like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, this is a hazard.
No.
Yeah, it's a safety hazard to listen to this on the road.
Isabelle, do you do stand up or have you ever done stand up?
I don't.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Despite my
Congratulations,
constant
honestly.
pleas and begs for her to try.
No, I feel and they've almost worked, but I feel so much safer in this space.
Yeah.
I
That's so
also
fair.
It's
yeah.
a cowardice for sure.
Oh, you're-
Like I'm sure I would enjoy it in theory.
Yeah,
But
in theory.
in
is the-
theory.
yeah,
Everyone
that's
thinks
how I
that
feel
they'll
every
enjoy it
time
in
I-
theory.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have to say, because I think in general, stand-up community talks a lot of shit about stand-up in general
Yeah.
and being a stand-up, but it actually is fun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't do it.
There's very much like that. Every like comedian that you talk to has that detached irony of like, oh, like,
Right.
yeah, I do stand up or I have the show tonight or whatever. And it's like, I feel like my struggle with stand up is that I'm so anxious that it does kind of freak me out every single time I do
Yeah.
it.
Totally.
But it is so much fun. And it's like, especially when you talk to like, I feel like when I'm catching up with people from like home or things like that, and they're just like, I work my 9 to 5 and I have like no like I don't do anything
Life,
else.
yeah.
It's like it's so gratifying to be like, oh, the thing I do in the evenings and weekends is like tell little jokes with my friends.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that fucking rules. And
Totally.
it would be nice. I hope we're due for a like a swing of the pendulum the other direction from the like detachment and irony like angle. And
Core,
it's like,
yeah.
the world's on fire. Be like, you're a clown. Be happy about it.
Yeah,
Shit could be
truly.
so much worse for
Totally.
you. Like,
yeah. No, I needed that actually, that reminder.
Wait, so you talked to me a little bit about transition from, or maybe it was at the same time, stand up to playwright to stand up, or were you kind of dabbling in all at the same time?
Yeah. So so stand up was the first thing I did, because in college I took a class called Women in Stand Up Comedy, where it was awesome. It was like by far. I mean, it
There's
literally
2 or
changed my
3 of
life,
them now,
actually.
yeah.
There's a gaggle.
Yeah.
Back then it was purely hypothetical, but
right in 2016 when I took it, it was like, what if, right? And that was really exciting.
yeah, it was kind of like a sci-fi sort of
Totally
exploration.
dystopian. Yeah. Post-apocalyptic, obviously.
Please don't post this clip, because even sarcastically, the first straight guy on your podcast being like, so the class was about like, what if a woman did comedy, is like not the vibe I'm trying to put out.
No, we're gonna put this clip out.
Cool, yeah. And ultimately, if y'all decide to do that, that also, I respect women's decisions. So,
It'll
yeah.
get a cool
Caption is straight man goes
246
absolutely
views.
in on women.
We had Ash on the pod and he was cutting up.
Yeah, straight man boldly wants women silent.
I also do love, I don't know how the story ends, but the trajectory of you took a women in stand-up class and you said, I think it needs another man.
Well,
It's time, baby.
I mean, the honest truth as to why I took the class was my friend Liz took the class and she was like, I think you'd really like this.
Shout
and
out
it was an
Liz.
elective, and I was taking communications and English classes. Shout out Liz. And so I took it, and the final turned out to be like doing a stand-up set. And when I did that, there was like a former student who was booking a festival in New Orleans that has since been canceled because the people are bad.
Sure.
But it happens to the best of us right now. And he was booking a new talent show for that festival, and was like, hey, do you want to come do this? I was like, great.
You were discovered.
I was discovered.
That's incredible.
And to be fair, it was like a bunch of people from our class
Sure.
he took. And did the show, went great. I was horrified, basically never did it again. Started taking improv at the theater that got canceled. It wasn't canceled at that point. And then from there, went to sketch. From sketch, started doing a little more serious stuff, and then like applied to NYU on a whim. Yeah.
Hey,
So
wow.
yeah,
So would you say that not going to NYU was one of the best things to happen to you?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah,
That was truly divine intervention too, because it's like, yeah, something just happened.
truly.
Did they have any explanation for that?
Yes, but I won't
You won't
get
we won't
into
go
it. My
it.
voice cracked and everything. I was like, I actually can't talk about that.
No. I have an NDA.
Yeah.
So it's no
There's a lot
worries.
of paperwork. It's literally
It was
ironclad.
bananas.
Yeah.
I will say that if I ever become any sort of successful, there is a specific person's name that I cannot wait to publicly shit
let's
on.
go.
Yeah.
But I just have
Yes.
to get to a certain level.
Yeah. You're almost there. I
And
feel.
promise us when you're at that level, you'll return to this space.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the worms next door.
I'm gonna get the worms next door. I'm gonna get right in the camera and I'm gonna call them out. And
Absolutely.
then it'll be beautiful.
And we'll put you on your own couch in that scenario.
Yeah. I
like that.
You
Cool.
get your own couch for an announcement.
You don't want to be
that.
like part of this with me now.
You're not into the body language anymore. All of a sudden.
But it's funny you say like divine intervention, because there was like a chain of, at the time, awful events in my life that so I was in ROTC in college. Like I went to
Oh,
college
wow.
on a Marine Corps scholarship,
Wow.
and that was like my plan.
Totally.
I didn't really want to do
Was
it.
that influenced by military
Mom and dad.
upbringing?
100%.
Okay.
Love my parents to death, but they were like, you either have to get an ROTC scholarship or you got to figure out how to pay school
Yeah.
for school on
Yeah.
your own. It's just like, the situation we were in.
Were both of your parents
Um,
military?
Yeah, my
Okay.
mom is from Ireland, and she came to New York in like the late 80s and eventually joined the Navy. And she met my dad while she was enlisted, and he was stationed up here as
Okay.
well. And just for like my mom's situation, emigrating, and my dad, black in Alabama in the 70s, it was very
Sure.
much like military was like a way out, right?
Yeah.
And so in their minds, for us, like me and my brothers, they were like, this is a way for you to go to school for free. And all you have to do is be a Marine for 4 years afterwards.
All you have to do is fight for our freedom.
Yeah.
And so I did that for like the whole time I was in college. And, you know, you do trainings in the summer and everything. And I got hurt and I got I've had like a couple of shoulder surgeries, and I got medically disqualified from the program, which then led to me having the space to take the comedy elective and joining our college's sketch group.
I just got chills.
Same.
And then that led me to apply to NYU, which led me to getting kind of T-boned by NYU, which led me to Vermont, which brought me to this couch.
Which
with you
brought
lovely
you
queens.
literally
Yeah.
here,
And
where you're
actually,
meant to be.
This
Where
was
it feels
God's
right.
plan for you.
This
There's
is
more
Sorry to
after
say.
this.
I get hit by a truck.
And by the
outside,
way,
yeah.
you're not leaving the basement.
The worms
Am I
devour us
gonna be
after.
the bone museum.
Yeah.
Worms and then bone museum.
No one's
Yeah.
famously ever heard from any guest post this podcast.
Yeah.
So,
No, this is
yeah,
the
but
career
hey,
ending.
Here's hoping for you, of course.
Fingers
Uh,
crossed. Yeah.
Wait, so how much? Because I feel like I grew up with a couple military kids too. My dad was government, so like military
Adjacent for sure. Yeah.
How much moving around did you do?
So a little less than like some folks, but I was actually not technically, I was born here. Like I arrived here one day. I was born here, and then before I was even 2, we kind of just made our way down the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I lived in like 7 or 8 different places. I went and lived with my grandparents in Ireland for like a hot minute while
Ooh.
both my parents were active duty. Yeah, it was like, oh, I'm in
I'm in Ireland.
I got the chicken pox over there. It was very like
Wow.
it was
Gee.
I'm like very American of me to bring a disease
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Hey.
Yeah, very American of you to demand an oatmeal bath the second you get to Ireland. It's like, lather me immediately. I'm ailing.
I'm ailing and I have needs. So I would say, yeah, we probably lived in like 7 or 8 places. I went to I was in Montgomery, Alabama for like the like 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. I think actually just 4th and 5th, and then we ended up in Texas for like the rest of middle school and high school. So I moved around a bunch when I was really young,
Yeah.
and then it settled a little bit.
Wait, where in
high
Texas were
school.
you?
Texarkana, Texas. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's like a lot of people have driven through it. That tends to be
Sure.
how
Yeah.
people know it. It got its name because half the town's in Texas and half the town is in
It's in
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been to
do you know-
Arkadelphia famously.
Have you? Which way?
Hey, shout out.
What were you doing in Arkadelphia? Do you know Arkadelphia?
So, listen, I
Arkadelphia-
cannot stress this enough. No.
You haven't heard of Arkadelphia?
What?
It's on the border of Arkansas. and
Circling back, what the hell
Philadelphia.
is
It's on the border of
happening?
Arkansas, Philadelphia.
So I feel like a stranger in my own podcast. Just gonna put that out there.
You haven't been to like a
Everything-
name fusion
You guys
town?
are all-
Arkansas has to do portmanteau for every place
Yeah.
there is. Like,
I mean, I'm aware of Floribama, obviously.
Yeah, of course. It's in the same,
Floribama Shore.
not literal neighborhood, but
Sure.
like in theory.
Yeah, no, vibe-wise, of course. It's all
I don't
very
know
much
why
aligned.
Arkadelphia is a thing, but I don't know why, but one summer most of my family was in Texas, but I lived in Pennsylvania. And a couple of summers, we would always go down there because I went to camp there. But we like drove down one time,
Okay.
which took like 3 days, and we had to stop over at places. And so one of the places was Arkadelphia, and we stayed in a Holiday Inn Express.
Yes.
Hell yeah, you did.
Drive up.
Yeah.
Like,
Drive up,
amazing.
really horrible experience.
Arkadelphia's
That-
nuts.
yeah.
There's a water park there, and there are 2 colleges that are across the street from each other
In Texarkana.
in Arkadelphia.
Oh, are you making stuff up?
No, well, I know
We're
Arkadelphia
using,
so
this is
well.
like pig Latin. No, like you guys like conspired
Isabelle,
on
get
creating a
in
new
here.
language.
Just
Where?
say
What weird
something.
place have you been?
There are no
Just
wrong
yes,
answers.
There's no rules to improv. Okay.
Yeah. There's 2 colleges that we like everyone from my high school went to. So it was like there were the Texarkana to Arkadelphia pipeline was really like potent.
And by the way, I
and
need a t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Immediately.
You could get the t-shirt and you won't like the t-shirt.
Wait,
You're
side
like-
note, because you said water park, and that got me thinking, have you ever been to Schlitterbahn?
I've never actually been, but I feel like,
You're like,
you just
I'm
like
gonna
haven't
So now
thought
you
about
guys are fucking
Schlitterbahn.
with me. Schlitterbahn?
I feel like the Winter Soldier being activated. I haven't heard that in so long. Schlitterbahn.
It's
I've
the
never
world's
actually
biggest
been.
water park. I thought
Indoor,
maybe
outdoor?
U.S. I think it's outdoor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like a Great Wolf Lodge.
Sure.
We're not
Have y'all
doing
been to
that.
one of those?
I'm not
The
going
commercial
there.
always looked good to me. Okay,
Is it-
no,
this
it's
is the indoor
not
one?
the vibe. Yeah.
Growing up, I'm telling you,
Did
I
you
went
go
to
there?
one indoor water park and I'm like, this is nirvana to have something
Seriously?
this
Yeah.
big and fun under a roof. Like that
But I want a water
seems-
park to be
beautiful.
outside because it's hot.
Right, but there was
Sure.
something about the like Superdome quality of the
Sure.
one that I went to where I was like, this feels unique.
I could do this and like rain or shine.
Rain or
Yeah,
shine.
no,
at the
it
water
is
park.
nice,
Exactly.
like,
There's
if
no
If you are on a trip and there happens to be a day where the weather's not good, it's like, well, it doesn't matter because the water park's inside.
We're
Yeah, exactly.
Can't do that, Schlitterbahn.
But Schlitterbahn is, I've only been there one time and I was quite young, but I remember feeling.
Are we still in the Arkadelphia cinematic
Schlitterbahn
universe?
is in Texas.
Okay.
I don't know where in
Is
Texas.
it like Dallas Fort? Where in Texas was your family?
So my grandparents and most of my family were in Houston.
Oh,
And then
okay.
my aunt and uncle live in Austin. Now a lot of my cousins live there. And then my sister now lives in Fort Worth.
Yeah. Pretty spread. All the major
All the
metropolitan
major ones, yeah.
areas.
And then my dad splits his time between like Houston, and he has a ranch in College Station.
Oh hell yeah!
'Cause
Been
he
to College Station.
He
Gig 'em.
can't let it go, you
Yeah.
know. and Colorado, so he
Oh
goes
wow!
back and
Okay,
forth,
yeah. He's tri-coastal.
He's running from himself.
Yeah, oh sure. I understand that. Give me his number. We can chat.
Yeah,
sometime.
no. You guys will definitely connect.
Is he on PlayStation?
Certainly not, but he does have a tanks game on his iPad.
Oh, that's cool.
But he
so
loves to play
scary.
tanks.
I feel it's
Yeah.
probably fun.
Oh, so scary.
Yeah. Just the complete opposite reactions. I'm like, amazing, scary.
No, there have been times where I'm like in Colorado and the entire it's nighttime. The entire room is dark. Like I'm in the living room, entire room is dark. All I see is just a glowing square in the corner
Sure.
and hearing just loud like bombs.
Oh, headphones
Mhm.
out.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there's no
I
such
guess
thing as headphones.
Sure, it's his
For the
space. I
boomers.
guess.
Yeah, it's his space. But I'm like, you're really playing your tanks in the dark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's great.
This
Sounds
is
like a
what my
guy's
dad
guy.
does with old westerns.
Oh, that's fun.
He'll wear a cowboy hat, folks. Yeah.
I like that.
I like
Daddy
that
I'm
too.
into
excuses
that.
himself from dinner and he says, I have business to attend to.
Yeah.
It's black and white westerns, cowboy hat on, lip packed.
I like to imagine him like
Lip
getting up from the table and like getting the cowboy hat off of, like a rack, and
Absolutely.
he's like, "Well, I'll
An
see y'all
anatomically
later."
correct mannequin of his own head.
Yeah.
Daddy's got business to attend to. Keeps it warm.
Can't put a cold hat on.
Oh God, no.
No,
You
no,
can't
no.
disrespect a hat like that.
Mm-mm.
I've learned one thing in Arcadavis, Vegas, or whatever. it's
Arcadavis.
And that's
Vegas.
right. And that's right.
And by the way,
That's that Drake
no
song.
notes. Houston, yeah, it's the sequel to Houston Land of Vegas, of course. Okay, sorry. Back to you, of course.
Back to you.
Simply not my father's head. Do you and your brothers like consider a specific city or state home? After moving
Oh, that's
around
an
a lot?
interesting question. So my youngest brother, who just graduated college actually, and whose birthday's tomorrow. Shout out
Happy
Logan.
birthday, shout out.
Turning
we love
22.
Logan. Oh my
Love that
God,
for
what a
him.
blissful
I know,
year.
He's a little baby.
Wow.
He was born in 2003. He was like 3 when we got to Texarkana. So for him, like he considers himself like from
Texan.
he's the only one of us that went to like one school system.
Did he
from,
go to school in
like-
Texas as well?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
college? Okay.
Oh no, for college he went to Memphis.
Okay.
He left for
Okay.
Memphis.
So stayed south.
Yeah, stayed south. He is the southerner of the family for
It's
sure.
surprising though
like-
because I feel like if you really identify as a Texan, you're not really part of the South. You're in a different
Like
place. It's called Texas.
Completely.
I think,
yeah.
I think that like mostly yes, but also like where we were in Texas, it's so like there's like a lot of Texas pride, but also it's like right on that line. So a lot
Right,
of Texas
right.
and Arkansas. It's
a lot of
much
Arkansas
more
pride.
like we are. Yeah, a lot of Arkansas pride right across the street. There's that street in the middle of the city called State Line, and half
Wow.
the town, or it's split that way, and there's a courthouse on State Line. where like the state line cuts through the middle of the building. So there are Texas courthouses on one side of the building and Arkansas courthouses on the other side of the building,
Wow.
Whoa.
which is like
They
kind of
really-
interesting.
they really did that.
Why? No clue. Truly would love to meet the city planner. I guess city planners that were like, what if we
We're gonna
did
remix
something
it.
crazy?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is like the Kansas City of it all as well. It's like, what are we doing here?
Right. Wait,
Mhm.
when you say the Kansas City of it all, what do you mean by
How like they're Kansas City,
One
Missouri,
Kansas
Kansas
City,
City,
two
Kansas,
states.
but
Right,
it's
okay,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
that? See, I feel like that's almost even. Oh no, I guess Texarkana is the same way. There's Texarkana, Texas, Texarkana, Arkansas.
Right?
Oh my God, just a little geography.
America
Giant.
is obsessed with state borders, by the way. Like, state pride is such a fascinating
Truly.
concept. Like, for there to be something so bold as like state line, so
Yes.
that it's immediately clear and top of mind to everyone. Like, these
Don't
two
forget.
streets are not the same.
You're
I
not
mean-
here anymore.
Yeah. Wait, but as to, you're not a native Texan.
No.
You're not also not a native Texan. But as people who have spent time in Texas, can you speak on Texas versus Arkansas? Like, what do you view as? Those are two
certainly
states,
can't.
by the way, that like are as foreign to me as parts of the world that I've never visited before because I have never been to either. So, like, what can someone please?
I like that you're like Arkansas, Bruges. To me, these are the same.
Arkansas-
Myanmar,
Yeah.
Arkansas. Yeah, no, I kind of
The
of
Maldives,
course,
yeah.
conceptually very similar to me.
I think so again, like Texarkana, especially since like Texarkana is really like Texas is so big, I feel like I can't like there's a comic that I love, Josh Carter, who or Josh Stokes, who is always like he's like you're barely from Texas. Like there's so much like even within Texas like divides.
Mm.
The part of Texas where I was, both the Texas side and the Arkansas side were just like kind of like in a lot of ways, in my opinion, kind of the worst of what you think of when you
Sure.
think of the South.
Sure.
It was, there were just like the like racism
Yeah.
and just stuff where it was actually really interesting seeing my youngest brother like fully grow up there,
Yeah.
because there were like he'd come home with opinions sometimes and we'd have to be like, that is
Now,
not
That's
what we
wrong.
think in this house. Yeah, hey,
Where'd you dig that one
excuse
up?
me, sir. No.
Yeah.
But I think the main difference from like that area is that there is a little more money on the Texas side.
Sure.
So there so the high school, speaking of like the really strict divides, my high school was called Texas High School and the Arkansas high school was called Arkansas High
Please
School.
don't get it twisted. Yeah. In
This
case you were
is
trying
not
to.
that high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Untangle the two.
Untangle the two. Consciously uncouple those
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Seriously.
And there just was kind of like a reputation that the Arkansas side was just like a little like tougher, rougher, not
Sure.
as nice than the Texas side.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood I grew up in was called Pleasant Grove. So I was also
boy.
like particularly
And then on the other side was called
lovely.
Payne Grove.
Yeah. Misery Ave. Intersects with Joy Street.
Have you guys ever read like a Fear Street book by R.L. Stein?
Oh,
That's kind of
yeah.
that's kind of
Of
like what we
course.
had: Pleasant Grove,
Yeah.
Payne Grove,
Yeah.
Fear Street. It's kind of what was cooking in
Yeah.
our little corner of East Texas.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
too
interesting
good.
that to think that Texas shares a city with another state, because
Right.
I just would expect that they would not be okay with that
Wouldn't
as a
stand
culture.
for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like there's probably an interesting history there.
Yeah.
I certainly have never made the time
Certainly
to,
wouldn't
read
know.
about it.
Of course not.
No desire to know.
Yep.
That should be like your brother's domain.
Yeah, he
can
should figure
it
that out.
He
I'll
has a
check in
crowd
with
sucker.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The thing that I would say, I mean, I don't know Texas that well, but one of the things that struck me when I was spending a lot of time there was that there's like a different, you have to like learn about Texas history. Like there's,
Yeah, that was
There's a whole
we had
state
Texas history
program.
class.
yeah, which is like no other state to my knowledge has that. And some of them should.
It's so we also do the right before the Pledge of Allegiance, we pledge to the Texas flag
Oh
in
my
school
God.
too.
Just a second round of
Um,
indoctrination, just
it
in
was-
case.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it did not. I knew it felt weird to me because I had been to other schools, but I was still young enough to not like. I was young enough to clock it as different, but not really understand like what was
What was
happening,
happening to
I
you,
guess.
yeah.
So we would in my middle school when I took Texas history, it was my first period. So I would get there, pledge allegiance, pledge to the Texas flag, and then sit down and learn specifically about Texas, and then go home and be like, well, education's done for the day.
All in a day's
Like,
work.
You're all PhDs in
In
Texas.com.
we know everything about the Alamo. Do not ask me to do a math word
No,
problem.
certainly not.
I couldn't do it if I tried.
will not find the area of that square, and yes, I am 25 years old.
And I'm sure the curriculum was historically accurate and didn't have any
Oh,
narrative
yeah.
bias whatsoever.
No.
Yeah.
Did you guys know there were no slaves?
Wow.
It was all teamwork.
I have a Texan friend actually who told me that one time. Yeah.
I
Probably
think
aced the
some
class.
people actually believe that,
Yeah.
which I think,
Oh, Carey.
Yeah. which is
Yeah.
it's scary.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's really
the
scary.
amount of people who swear to God that like the Civil War is about like states' rights.
Oh.
Amount of white people, I should be
Yeah,
very clear on
certainly.
that, is, I mean, like, I very like specifically remember the states' rights. Like in the classes we took, it was like there are two leading theories as to why the Civil War happened. Maybe slaves, I don't know. That seems probably not.
kinda
Just like, but
Yeah.
also boo.
Yeah, but I'm like, I guess that was kind of like weird, but also states' rights, and that's what we're going to.
That's what really galvanized the people.
States' rights to choose to keep
Have
having
slaves.
slaves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oof.
god, she's wearing
Good
like a
time.
14-gallon Texas flag.
Did you?
Like my father's.
Totally.
Minus the Texan flag, of course. I should be very
Of
clear.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a just straight cowboy,
Yeah,
not a Texan
exactly.
cowboy. Yeah.
Did you feel like you had like an awareness that what you were being told was not right, or did you have like a period of needing to like deprogram yourself?
So all these things are really, I haven't thought about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
in a
sorry to
while.
dig up all your trauma.
No. It's just that I did very specifically have that, and I got in trouble with the school.
Mm.
So my freshman year of high school, maybe sophomore year, I was on the swim team, and my mom gave me her copy of the autobiography of Malcolm X, as told to Alex Haley, and I read that, and it did to me what it tends
What
to
it's
do to
supposed to do,
people.
yeah.
What
And
the
I
class on
started,
women
yeah.
comedians did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did for your comedy career.
Of course.
Well, I guess I've had a number of awakenings. No, I read the book and I mean, it like changed my life.
Yeah.
But I was like 15, and I started telling people on the swim team about the book, and
Ruh-roh.
very white swim team. But my best friend at the time was also mixed, and so
Mhm.
we like really bonded over it, and we talked a lot about it. And then his white grandmother reported to the school that I was radicalizing her son or her grandson. And then like my swim coach called me in, like they like took it seriously. Like they were
Whoa.
like, you can't talk to like you can't talk to like
Anyone.
your classmates
Yeah.
about like this like radicalist, and like my fucking coach was like just the worst of like Christian,
Mhm.
like nondescript denomination youth group leader who was just a huge hypocrite, right? Like just a nightmare man. And he was explaining to me that he was like, well, the Black Panthers were bad people. And I was like, well, I was like, well, that's not even, like Malcolm.
Sure.
It was like,
Right.
that's not even what we're talking about. And yeah, I got in trouble, and I had to, Byron, I didn't get to talk to him anymore, like
Oh my
destroy our
God.
friendship, because his family wouldn't let him talk to me because I was poisoning his mind.
Oh, that's
And
so
I
sad.
think, yeah, that was when that's when I realized something was up.
Something doesn't seem
What
right.
the heck is going on in
Yeah.
Texas?
But I think
yeah.
also speaks volumes to just how like state specific certain curriculums are. Like
For
Malcolm
sure.
X, I grew up in like the Northeast, right outside of DC. And that was obviously like integral to what it meant to learn about America's
Sure,
history.
yeah.
I feel like we had similar like educations, but Malcolm X was like, I still felt that there was quite a distinction between like MLK, good. Malcolm
Yes,
X,
Sure.
100%.
Yeah, and I should make that clarification.
That's the
because-
clip also.
Yeah. And Connor, clip that.
Let's post that on Juneteenth.
Yeah,
for
no
Carey.
context.
Ooh, I love love America's birthday. But no, I should clarify because that was the subtext for sure that I was getting as
Okay.
well. But it's not like either were erased or not spoken about.
Totally.
Oh,
It was
sure.
like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much, those were like fruitful discussions that we were encouraged to have.
Okay,
But
yes.
the
Yeah.
subtext, of course, was one of these is the righteous path and the
Right.
other
One of
is
these is
scary.
bad.
Yes.
He's just
Yeah.
a bad guy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, now that we've
Texas
tackled race,
education.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think we fixed
So
it,
we
right?
solved that. Yep. Okay, cool.
Good
Yeah.
job, y'all.
Check. Yeah. And Connor marked that as kind of check.
Yeah.
Are you back in Texas often for family stuff? Or?
No, my parents actually moved to Alabama. My dad's from Alabama
Mhm.
and has like some health stuff. So basically, it was like Alabama, upstate New York, where my brother was going to school, or like going back to Ireland was never like a huge, like really an option. But my mom wanted to be like near a beach somewhere. So
Yeah.
that kind of took away upstate New York. And then like my dad still has some family in Alabama and stuff. So they moved there basically immediately after my youngest brother graduated high school. They were like, Logan's gonna graduate. We'll stay for a year or two so he has somewhere to come home to. And then I think 2 weeks after he got to college, my mom called me and she was like, "We found a house. We're going now." And I was like, "I'm thrilled for y'all.
Yeah.
Like, go for it." So I haven't been back to Texarkana in quite a while, but
Yeah.
it was like one of those things where when I went back in college, it was great because I could still see my friends. But I think the last time I went there, when my family was still living there, I was like,
Nothing left
I
in
don't
this
know if I
town
need to
for
come
me.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a Cane's in New York now. So
Right. We're good.
We're kind of going global with this whole mission
Yeah.
here.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find that a lot of your Texas friends stayed in Texas for college
Yeah.
and like planted roots there?
Yeah, I only have really two friends that I stayed in touch with. I didn't have like a lot of friends in high school. I had like kind of a tight knit group where it was the kind of thing where the summer after I came back from freshman year, I got invited to a party,
Mm.
which I had like never happened, and people were drinking at the party. And I remember saying to someone that I was on the swim team with, so around kind of a lot throughout high school, I was like, man, like, how'd y'all get like this alcohol? And he basically revealed that they'd been having these drinking parties like throughout high school. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
like me and DJ and Sterling have just been like
Yeah.
getting together, like playing video games. I didn't know that y'all were like doing stuff. But basically like both DJ and Sterling stayed, are in Texas currently. Shout out, both have beautiful families.
Shout out DJ and Sterling. Love you guys.
Shout out.
Shout out. Hell
Love
yeah.
you guys.
And Texarkana is very much it's a small, I mean, when we got there, it was a small town. They built a highway, so it's like grown a lot since I
Sure.
got there, but incredibly small. It's still a small town. So people tend to they honestly tend to graduate high school, go to
Texas
Arkadelphia
U.
for school, like not even UT.
I can't
like
even say
a lot
UT.
of
I was like trying to
TU.
call back to Texas high school, but I'm like, wait, no, UT
Texas
is for sure
College.
a thing.
Texas
Yeah.
College. The community college was called Texarkana College. You know,
Amazing.
Awesome.
really straightforward.
Sure.
But yeah, a lot of people tend to go not very far, but then come back.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and I'm happy for them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But-
for some people it scratches the niche.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like I got out there, I did some different stuff, and I want to come
Totally.
home. It also, I imagine I would feel differently if I felt like that was home.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird because I lived in the same place my entire life, but I also feel similarly of like it doesn't feel like home either. And I
Really?
don't know what home is. I suppose I don't have one.
You saying that alone on the couch is
And
I guess I don't really have a home.
yeah, and done.
And clip that.
Everyone's like, so Carey, tell us
So
about her.
back to me. You
Is
know
she
what?
good?
I had therapy today, and so I really am kind of all talked out on
Oh,
myself. So you guys
sure.
kind of go right ahead.
Well, I mean, we're literally forcing you to like dig through the trenches of
Which also, by the way, this podcast has never been like interviewing our guests, but this has been so nice that we're getting to know you
I'm
better.
really enjoying talking to you.
Yeah,
It's
no,
very
we're
easy to talk to.
having a blast.
We just met. I feel like I've known you for
Absolutely.
years.
Yeah, no,
It's family
you guys are
right
gonna get
here.
drinks after this.
But I feel similarly with all not quite sure because I feel like
Well,
growing
you
up.
grew up.
I
moving
moved
on.
around a bit
So
again.
you were like outside of DC to start with?
I
or-
grew up, I was born in San Francisco,
Oh, okay.
moved to DC for my dad's job, and then we moved to Singapore for a little bit,
Oh shit. Okay.
for like 5-ish years, and then moved back to DC, did high school, and then obviously went to Connecticut
Oh,
and
that's
or
cool.
elsewhere for college. But similarly, like I didn't bounce around nearly as much, but I feel like if someone was to be like, "Oh, where are you from?" I find myself caveating it a
Yeah.
lot, where I'm like, "Well, DC, but I don't consider DC home. I grew up overseas, but I don't consider that home."
Right. You end up
So-
having to kind of like, it's like, to answer your question, I'm going to have to talk for 30 to 90
Yeah,
seconds.
exactly. Exactly.
Are we good with that, or
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to like get the elevator pitch real crisp because it's always like,
Yeah.
I've been talking for 12 minutes, my face is really red, and is everyone bored or is that just me?
You want to know all these things, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I totally envied like I feel like there were just a stronghold of people, and maybe it's like a function of going to school in the Northeast, but people who like grew up in Boston, or like
Sure.
even people who grew up in, I don't know, like big metropolitan
Mhm.
areas, who just felt so much pride
Really
for
strong
the
sense of-
specific place that they grew up.
Totally.
It's like, what's that like?
well, that's
must be
I feel that
nice.
way about like people really love the real Philadelphia, not
oh,
Arkadelphia.
totally.
People like it's Philly pride
Big time.
all the time,
Oh
but
my
I
God,
never
yeah.
had that really.
What's your hockey mascot that everyone idolizes?
The Flyers.
Oh no,
No,
not
the fuzzy
Grimace.
guy.
Oh.
Gritty.
Gritty.
Yeah.
Gritty.
Gritty.
My
The
guy.
orange monster.
The fact that you guys knew that and I was drawing a blank says everything.
We also didn't give you a chance to answer. I
You
guess
didn't,
ultimately.
but I think I
You
would
said
have said like
Flyers, which was not
bloopy-doop.
wrong.
yeah. Oh, I said
Yeah.
I said Flyers, which
No,
is which is
exactly.
the team.
Yeah.
Bloop
And I'm-
Doop is also like, I mean,
Would
his
be a
name is Gritty and
great-
he's an orange monster. Like, that's as good a guess as the
That's what I'm
reality.
saying. Yeah. But no, I don't feel spiritually connected to any of those teams.
Did you always feel this way about like not considering where you're from home, or is this like something that has happened to you since you've been away?
I guess I never thought about it before I left.
Yeah.
And I think now that I'm seeing a lot of people from like my high school kind of migrate back to
Mhm.
where we are from,
Yeah.
I am realizing that I would never do that. Well, I never say never. It's a beautiful place to
Sure.
grow up and live. Like it was wonderful. It just it doesn't
Not
really
for
like
you.
speak to me.
You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
other things to do.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know, suburbia, like everything is I can't afford to buy a house out there.
No,
like
Yeah.
they won't have me.
They-
It's like the
No.
honest truth of it all.
I'd
Like,
love to go back.
they
Yeah.
barely had me back then, but I was a little baby, so they were like, I guess it's fine.
So we got to
Totally.
keep her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
And
cute.
I don't know if this is, I feel like you're alluding, I feel like we've all alluded to it, but to go back, I notice a pattern of people basically like trying to rinse, repeat some aspect of how they grew up.
Mm.
And there's like a long
Sure.
line of kids who I went to high school with, whose parents also went to that high school, whose
Yeah.
Yeah.
parents'
same.
parents went to that high school.
Know the
and
same teachers.
know the
and
same
all this stuff.
teachers
Yeah.
and have played in the same sports leagues, and it's just a very like generational thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Which that part always kind of was like, I don't know if I need, like I yearned for kind of like the home pride, which I feel like moving around a lot you don't get, but that always stood out to me as something that was like a little bit eerie
Yes.
of the like
yeah. The
repeating
cyclical nature of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like I feel like that is the kind of thing that sounds really cool and nice in theory, but then when you kind of live it out, it's just like, well, how I love my dad, but I don't want to have the exact same life that he had.
Right.
Totally.
And it also, I agree with you calling it eerie because it's like, especially, well, I guess I'm projecting a little bit about Texarkana, but it's like if the place isn't great, it's like I feel like for me, watching people that I knew in high school who were like really cool and open-minded and like were a very specific type of person become like the type of person that makes Texarkana the problem that it is like such an interesting kind of like heartbreak where it's like, oh my God, you like you used to love gay people. Like what changed? Literally what changed?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Um,
because it's hard to
yeah.
break out of those molds
It's a
if
cycle,
you
Right.
just
yeah.
go right back to the place where the molds exist and will always exist. And,
Totally.
Well, and we've talked about this before of like when you go home and you revert back to who
Completely.
you were as a child. Like
yeah.
I
yeah.
can't escape that even if I'm not in my physical house where I grew up. But like even just being around, I'm reminded of myself at, 15.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's just like like you said, it being eerie, it feels like you're kind of surrounded by like the ghosts of yourself, and
Truly.
it's like I would rather have a clean slate somewhere where
Yeah.
I'm not everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely. Well, speaking of eerie,
Isabella's the queen of segues.
We have asked you a lot about your upbringing, but we haven't asked you the central question that we ask all guests, even the straight men who come on.
We still let them talk.
We still let them talk. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
What class are you teaching? What are you schooling Floundering Inc., the girls, the women of Floundering
foils.
Inc. on?
Yeah.
I guess so. When I was thinking about this, I was jumping around because I just know so many things. About
So many topics.
things.
You
Yeah.
said women in comedy.
Yeah.
Boy, am I going to take y'all to school on this one.
I'm going to introduce you to a little
Tina
lady
Fey.
known as Julia Louis Dreyfus.
Y'all heard of Veep? I didn't think so.
That's
Run
what
the
I
clip.
thought. Clip it.
I say staying with the segue. I watch a lot of horror movies. I know a lot of horror movies, and the way Carey pitched this question to me when we were talking about me coming on was like what you could teach a class on, and I think it would maybe be there would be some hubris involved with me saying I could fully teach a class on this, but I
Sure.
can maybe do like a free class at
Sure.
the Y on horror movies, and I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and to be clear, the Floundering itself is a project of two idiots coming together
Completely.
and talking about stuff they
Using
don't
big
know
fancy
about.
words and saying legit nothing.
And just putting Jungian in front of something and saying, and that's Jungian.
And that's on Carl Jung. Clip it.
So
Carl Jung scholars
It's
are like,
like
burn the
jazz.
tapes.
Yeah.
Like it would be irresponsible to have that
no,
out in
Carl
public.
Jung's estate is going to be getting in touch with us.
Absolutely. Ceasing
Cease
and
and
desist.
desist, yeah.
Yeah.
The studio just like the
Yeah,
lights go out.
exactly.
It's like, oh, they
Yeah,
got us.
Mike's cut.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so Carey and I famously do not like horror movies. We are
Sure.
big babies.
Well,
maybe I'm projecting that onto you.
it's not that I.
We are big babies.
We are big babies here.
No, I identify as a big baby for sure.
Maybe that's kind of what I meant. Right.
But
separate of
but
horror.
I have their specific subgenre of horror movie that I actually really like, and we've talked about this. It's like the Jordan Peele, like when you can use the genre to like actually say something
Sure.
versus
Sure.
like I think there's a lot of just like gore and stuff. But
Totally.
also
yeah.
I think that may be a bias that I have that has no basis in actual truth.
I don't think that there's no basis in truth, but there is like I think there is a much wider breadth and spectrum of horror movies than people expect.
Yes.
Sure.
And they're really, I do sincerely believe there is something for everybody in horror. Like they occupy similar spaces in or horror occupies a similar space in my brain as comedy, in that I think it is something that makes you feel alive and you like feel. And I think that can be like really cathartic, especially I'm forgetting who said this, where I read this, but there's also kind of like this thought that with horror movies, it also helps you like illuminate some of these dark places in your mind where it's like you see something happen on screen and it kind of like you get to play that out and it like takes some of the fear out of it. Like obviously if it happened to you in real life, you'd probably almost certainly still be quite afraid.
Yeah.
As a big baby might say, scaled.
Scary.
Yeah, which
In technical
I would
terms,
also say
super
is
scary.
But I'm also scared when like my pencil breaks and I'm like, oh, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's scary in like a cosmic existential
Totally.
way.
Right, it's like, oh, so God
Reality
doesn't want me
kinda
to
breaks
write.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is a pencil.
And
if it
I
has
will
no
take
lead.
to the pen.
Yeah.
Wait, so what got your foot in the door? Like what was the scary movie
Sure.
that made you feel very drawn to?
So I got into horror movies because my dad, it's like his favorite
Yeah.
genre. So like earliest movies I remember watching were horror movies. Actually, the very first movie I remember watching was the film Mouse Hunts, which scared me so much that my dad had to take us out of the theater.
Mouse hunts.
That happened to me
Yeah,
with
dude.
Holes.
But
Okay,
it's
I
had those
said, "I'm
lizards in it,
leaving."
though.
Holes
Yeah.
genuinely has scary moments and also is really good.
Yeah,
So
what a
true.
movie.
There,
Oh
I
my
said it.
Oh
god.
my god, one of the
I
best.
can fix that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can fix-
don't
oh,
even.
God, yeah.
Somebody said that. Somebody like sent me that recently. I forget who, but I was like, "Do you want me to like marry you?"
Yeah, are
Like-
we? This is flirting.
Yeah,
Like,
you
this
and
gift
it
is
and it
flirting.
was.
Yeah.
Fully. Okay, sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, I was.
Me?
I'm
Nothing.
just
we're talking
thinking
about
holes
mouse
now.
trap or whatever. It's called.
Mouse
Left the
Mouse Hunt
theater.
is like
Mouse
a
Hunt.
kid's film about it's like hijinks catching a mouse, and it was the first movie my dad brought me to see in theaters, and I was like,
Not
I don't
for
know what
me.
that is. Like, what's a mouse? But from there, my dad would always show me these horror movies, and the same thing would happen. My mom didn't want to watch them, so she'd be like, if you guys are gonna watch horror movies, you have to go to the guest room.
Mhm.
And there was a bed in the guest room, and my dad would sleep on the outside of the bed, and he would put on a horror movie, and I'd say, okay, I'll watch this with you if you promise not to fall asleep. And he'd say, I promise not to fall asleep. And then he'd fall asleep. But the remote was on the bedside table,
No.
which was,
Over his
past him,
body.
and I'm sleeping on the inside. And I'm, it's kind of like 5 or 6-year-old logic where I'm like, well, I can't wake up my dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, crawling over him, what could possibly
He'll eat me
happen? Like,
alive.
oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
As big
I'm
scary
already
dads are
afraid.
meant to do.
Yeah. So I would just watch these horror movies by myself, horrified, but like
Meanwhile, I love that your dad is like night,
Yeah,
like
just
falling asleep
snoring
in front
so
of blood
loud.
gore.
Like-
He's like doing his
Yeah.
skincare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Green tea
like
mask
red
on.
light and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just screaming. Yeah. It was always he really likes haunted house movies, and I really like haunted house movies now
Okay,
too.
so more
but
paranormal.
it was always more paranormal,
Yeah.
like freaky kind of stuff. And the first one I remember really like the first one that like stuck out in my brain is this movie called Rawhead Rex that I cannot find anywhere. But I can find like you can find like the Wikipedia, but it's really hard to get copies of it. And it's this Irish horror movie about like a monster demon thing that like I don't really remember what it was about. I just remember the monster was the scariest thing I had ever
Yep.
seen in my life.
Oh, and they visualize it. Like there's a visual. Okay.
Yeah, Rawhead Rex is the monster. There
Raw
was like
head.
Rawhead Rex and Pumpkinhead were like these two monster
Okay, my
movies
dad's
that my dad would
college
show me.
roommates.
You know the boys.
Yeah, the boys.
The monster
boys.
boys.
Back in the 80s with Rawhead Rex and
Yeah.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. I can't.
You are not allowed to go out with Rawhead Rex and Pumpkinhead anymore. I would the night we watched Rawhead Rex, I fell asleep, and we all have like the chair right with clothes on it and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, totally.
And the way our like hallway like is like a nightlight, the way that shone into the guest room, it like created this shadow that
Oh.
looked like someone looking at me the whole time I was
Oh,
watching this
no.
movie. And it's like such a visceral memory for me because I was so scared. But and, this is probably something to work out in therapy. But I just like there's not a lot of moments in my life where I can remember like feeling so intensely that like
Yeah.
every detail of that room was like etched into my brain.
Yeah.
And then also like growing up and knowing like, oh, like it's a movie, like nothing
Right.
can actually happen to me. Well, things can happen, but it just the movies, watching horror movies just kind of like tapped into that like
Yeah.
feeling of being like really like present, I guess, of like
Totally.
being like right now in this moment.
There is like a
Yeah.
perverseness too, and like I'm saying this as
You
someone
calling me a
who's
pervert?
yeah, I also have a similar pervert story that I can share.
So I can sense that you're a perv. Now I would like to
So
sort of
my
share.
turn with the pervert story.
Safe space for perversion.
Clip it.
This pod rules.
Yeah, I wonder what this is our last podcast,
Yeah.
obviously, so we
They
better
got real
run.
nasty.
Y'all are freaks. But I felt like I don't enjoy horror movies as much as you do, it seems, but there is something like that kind of could get me going about like tempting a scary moment, like being
Sure.
I grew up going to a house upstate that we just knew was haunted,
Of course.
and there was
Yeah.
something like oddly appealing about being like, where are you? Like,
Mm.
come out.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you?
Sure.
Like, as you're
Absolutely.
falling asleep at night, like, just show me a sign
It's like
that
the
you're
call of the
haunted
void,
and you're
kind
here.
of. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like something could be across the veil. And that's
Totally.
intriguing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's interesting that the way you described like the feeling that you had and like the sense of groundedness that you felt in your like environment
Yeah.
in that moment, because I just never thought about horror movies that way, because I feel like when I'm experiencing fear, I I leave my like I like don't
Mhm.
want to be there for that.
Sure. You're like escaping.
It's just
Even,
it's interesting. I wonder like also the gender dynamics of that too, because like
Of course.
I wonder if like guys are drawn to that because like boys are taught not to feel anything. So like, but if you're in this, you're allowed to
Yeah.
Yeah.
feel
Sure.
fear or whatever. It's like appropriate.
Yeah.
And
or
did you
something.
feel like when you finished a movie, like, did you emerge from it being like, that was brave? Like, almost like you conquered
Yeah,
it?
I think not so much brave. It very much was just like it very much is like it almost kind of feels like when you get off a roller coaster
Sure.
and you're like, gotta call it Pumpkinhead and Rawhead and crack some fucking beers.
Gotta go throw up this corn
I'm
dog.
gonna crack some cold ones with the boys.
Yeah. It just feels very like, oh, cool. I'm with it. It's like having a cup of coffee. Like, cool, I'm here. Like, I'm
Yeah.
with it. Like, and I think that I tend to have the opposite reaction of like wanting to escape, and I'm more, like locked into like I am glued to my seat. I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen next? I'm thinking about every possibility. I think in my mind, it also feels like kind of like a control room for my anxiety. It's like because my
Whoa.
brain is constantly like, like lots of us, all of us, like constantly just like thought,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to, at least for me, like I constantly have difficulty like focusing and like kind
Totally.
of staying on one thought. And horror movies, it's like all I'm thinking about is this specific thing, and I can still do all the could this happen? Could this happen? Could this happen? I can still like let my brain do its thing, but it is like pointed at this one
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Totally. I feel like there has to probably be, because it like, there's obviously genres where your mind is very engaged, but I feel like horror is unique in that like your whole body is invested in
Yeah.
it. Like you're sweating, your adrenaline systems are going, like
Totally.
your body is engaged in it more fully than just, I don't know, if something is making you think really hard.
Right. Yeah. It's like you said, like just complete, like it can really engage your full body.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very interesting to me in that way. What so what was the last horror movie you've seen? What would you
Ooh.
say?
The last like proper horror movie, honestly, because I'm so averse to them, I think it might have been like Us or
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Nope, like something that's
Yeah.
not that's horror proper but horror adjacent.
Right. I
Totally.
think I do struggle to identify within the genre. Like
Yeah.
I struggle to know what actually is horror, because I would say that like Sinners felt like a horror movie to me.
It's like a
But
vampire movie.
yeah, but is that or no?
I feel like I think of that as like a thriller / horror
Yeah.
Okay.
because of the vampire element. Even though there's not a ton of like jump scares, I think what is happening in that movie is definitely still like
Totally.
horror,
Right.
right? And I feel like Us and Nope are in that same
100%.
category.
And to your point, like I think the reason why I have a hard time with horror movie proper is because I watch maybe 20% of it, and the rest I'm like plugging my ears, closing my
Sure.
eyes,
Yeah.
hiding. But with a movie like Us and Nope, again, like because those are two examples of movies that I've seen maybe most recently,
Yeah.
I feel like I can actually sit and watch the whole thing without feeling like I need to hide or leave the room for
And like
part of
missing
it.
parts of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can
totally.
kind of like actually appreciate and absorb the entirety of it. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah. I don't often like to close my eyes during movies. I'm like, if I'm here
I'm
and
gonna
it's
watch.
happening, I'm
It's like white knuckling it.
Yeah, I'm like, I hate every moment of this.
Just tears on your
Yeah.
head.
unless there's like a really gruesome I'm not good with like body
Oh yeah.
during
yeah.
what's that movie with
Um
what's her name, and she should
Demi
have won the
Moore
Oscar
and-
but she
The
didn't.
Substance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I struggled in that movie.
Okay.
I
Quite
don't
a bit.
really I can't really do body horror
Okay.
and like gore. Like I'm not a big gore like body horror person. I also like very like I don't like to see it.
Yeah.
Hard for me to sit through. With the substance, I like had to cover my eyes multiple
Yeah.
times. Like
So
that kind of
that's
stuff is
that's
tough
an
for me.
example of a
Yeah.
movie that I thought was truly like an A+ movie
Incredible
that I
movie,
spent
yeah.
the entire time like this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was so good. I recognize that it was, but a little bit too vomit inducing at times.
Yeah. And I think the commonality in what both of y'all are saying though, that I feel like sometimes when people think about horror movies, they tend to not think of like good horror movies, right? Like all the
Right.
ones that y'all named are
think of
like
just, like,
really
It.
engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really engaging narratives and like well-made movies
And
too.
thank you.
And yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
y'all are
Thank you. We're,
great.
like, really cool here.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to stay here.
And that's on, by
Stay
the way,
forever.
Carl Jung.
Clip it.
Title of
and-
ep. Clip it.
you
Clip
it. But no, I think that's my favorite thing about horror movies themselves is like there's American horror, like everywhere has their own horror movies too. So it's also a really interesting way to like learn about different cultures and different types of folklore
Totally.
and that kind of stuff, and the type of scare or horror that is like more prevalent in like that country or that part of the world. Like I watch a lot of Japanese horror movies too, and Korean horror movies, and they're so much scarier than American horror movies. And a lot of them, at least in my opinion, a lot of times the reason those ones tend to be scarier is a lot of times in American horror movies, especially like I guess for example, if we're talking like haunted house movies,
Yeah.
the house is haunted. And like especially like Japanese movies, horror movies, it's like no, you are
The
haunted.
person is haunted,
Like
yeah.
you can
Yes.
leave the house and the ghost is like, cool,
With you.
where we going?
Yeah.
You know? And it's so upsetting and there's like no escape. And
Yeah.
but it also points to like different like cultural indicators, like the
Yeah.
things in horror movies that are scary and or across different types of horror movies. So
That is so
yeah, it was really
interesting.
fun.
I'm really we've had a couple of other comedians on this podcast, and the subject of horror movies has been brought
Bubbled.
up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do you feel like there's a connection between horror as a genre and comedy?
I think there definitely is, even with, I mean, talking about Jordan Peele, right? And then even Zach Krieger from like who did Barbarian was part of the Whitest Kids You Know,
Mhm.
like that sketch
Oh.
group. So I feel like I am not like I probably cannot well articulate the connection, but I think there certainly is one.
This
and
podcast is
I-
not about being able to articulate.
That's
things
right. That's
well.
right. Actually,
Yeah.
and I
We've never
said
done that.
well articulates, which is certainly
And
not how you
certainly
say
no
that.
notes on my end.
I think you could say that.
Yeah, you can absolutely say that on this show.
I think that, so I guess I can only speak for me, and for me the connection between the two is that they explore making someone feel something.
Right.
So like comedy, it's like I'm trying to make you laugh, I'm trying to make you empathize. Horror, I'm trying to scare you, also make you empathize.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think that's, in my mind, the function is so similar, even though the body is different.
Mhm.
It's like I very much, I think it makes sense to me that there's a
Yeah,
like,
it makes sense to me
comes up so
too.
much.
Yeah. I'm curious, and y'all are way more entrenched in like the inner workings of comedy than I am, but there is something to me about comedy that's like, oh, the scary thing or the hard thing, that's going to be the meat of what I'm exploring.
Mhm.
Sure.
And I feel like if we're thinking about Jordan Peele or someone along those lines who's like bridging those genres, or even if it's just horror specifically, it's like I'm going to run towards the scary thing.
Mhm.
Like I'm going to
Yeah,
run
yeah.
towards the hard thing and explore that. And I feel like there's definitely a common thread between
Yeah.
those two,
Totally.
especially if you think about, like the substance of some comedians who really explore their own inner demons.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
it's definitely like, I think it's the same like root conceit, which is just like something's different here,
Sure.
right? Like comedy
Something's
is like
funky.
what's different, and horror is like what's different,
Well, yeah.
like derogatory.
Derogatory.
What's different but make it bad.
And I think that there's also like a parallel between like the jump scare and the punchline,
Mm.
where it's like
Totally, yeah.
you have the build up and like and then it hits, like,
Yes, yeah, very cathartic, tension releasing.
Yeah.
Sometimes isn't good, sometimes it's hack.
Yeah.
Sometimes
But
it's
can be
hack.
really good.
But can't be good if it's you or me doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying, sister. Clip it.
Clip it, and we're going to Vermont.
Send it to the seller.
Wow.
Do you feel like you get a similar, and maybe I'm projecting this, but like after you finish a good horror movie and after you, I don't know, kill it when you do a stand-up set, like, do you feel a similar rush afterwards?
Ooh, I think that not necessarily a similar rush. I feel like with horror, I tend to like after a horror movie, I tend to feel like we were saying like more kind of grounded and connected. Whereas like, and I guess that's because I'm like watching it and taking it in, right?
Totally.
Whereas like if I do a show and I happen to do well, then I'm like I need to hold on to this feeling forever. Like it's actually a little bit more detached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because rather than being present, all I can think about is like how good I felt in
Right.
that moment,
Yep.
and when can I feel that way again.
Totally.
And if I don't know
Yeah.
if this happens to you, but like I get like wired, and like I don't feel. It's not that it's not a bad ungrounded feeling, but it's like I
Manic
can't
a
go to
little
sleep
bit.
for like 4 hours, and it's, by the way, it's
Yes.
11 p.m. on a Tuesday. So
100%.
that's
It's like
awesome.
coffee on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Is
Don't
often
tempt
how I
me
feel
with a
about
good
it.
time.
Come on now.
Hey, this is all just a bid to get you to start doing stand-up.
Yeah, come on.
Nori, I'm so safe here.
Yeah, I know,
With
you're
my
right.
dearest, closest friend.
I feel
The Ruins of
comfortable
Bone
now
Museum?
now that we're doing this. I feel like prior, when it was like the dark ages where we were at Javelina and I was begging you to do something with your life,
I was like, aren't we enjoying this queso? Or...
I was like, no, we're talking about your career, actually. I do think that was me doing a lot of, we talked about this, but a lot of like projecting onto you of like, you need to do stand-up, you need to do this and that.
Totally. And then you ended up doing it.
I know, and I was
yeah.
like, oh, maybe I just like, I wanted to do it.
100%. Yeah.
But
Was
you're
that
the funny
me?
one
No,
of the two.
I mean, we're all funny in very different ways. So that's
Okay.
the beauty of comedy.
I guess that's
Yeah.
My kind,
Clip it
generous
and clip that
answer.
part specifically. Yeah.
And that's on friendship.
This is gonna be a 90-minute clip, just
Yeah.
multiple different clips.
Wait, so I have to know though, like, is there one aside from Mousetrap,
Mouse Hunt.
Ratatouille? What was it
No.
called?
It's
So aside from
based
Stuart
in-
Little, what was
it's
the
based in
movie?
Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even say his fucking name to me, Isabelle.
So sorry. Yeah, and bleep that, of course. Is there a movie that you've watched recently where you're like, that was fucking horrifying and I can't stop thinking about it?
Totally. There's a movie called When Evil Lurks. That is either When Evil
I don't
Lurks or
like
Where
When
Evil
Evil
Lurks.
I prefer if evil to not lurk.
Yeah.
I'm immediately
Make
out.
yourself seen.
All evil wants to do is lurk. It's like, get a fucking hobby.
Do something else. Get a job like the rest of us.
Try stand up.
Yeah.
Actually, they
Do something
they
with your
are.
life.
Yeah, When
Evil is
Lurks
definitely doing stand-up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just a euphemism for open mics. Yeah. No, it's all good guys.
When evil
It's
runs
all
the
good-
light.
It's all guys too. Yeah. That movie it's a exorcism movie. And I used to do a podcast with two friends of mine who hated horror movies. That's kind of like the part of the point of it, and then the other point was that we were critiquing like what white people did in the horror movies.
Sure.
This is I'm pretty sure Colombian film though, so we took a backseat on that. And but my co-hosts were like, "This is the worst movie you've ever made us watch." I was terrified watching it. It's
Yeah.
a very scary movie. But it's also incredibly well made,
Yeah.
incredibly written, incredibly acted. So it's like, and it's like gory in a couple places, but not, like you're not covering your eyes the whole time, but it's more of just like this building dread, and then the scares that do happen are so like there's stuff that happened in this movie that I've never seen in a movie before. And it's very upsetting. So that is like kind of a deep cut if you really want to get scared horror movie. But then also Talk to Me is one of my recent favorites
Okay.
from the last couple of years.
What's
That was the one. Do you remember the movie that came out a couple years ago with like the hand, like the ceramic hand?
No,
It's
I'm so stupid.
no.
I've
you're
never
not
known any
stupid.
movie to ever come out.
No, don't say that. No, don't clip that. Don't
Clip
clip that.
Also, I love how we're saying clip it as though it's not going to be one of the two of us.
Well, it's just a marker for y'all to know. When
Yeah,
to clip
absolutely, yeah. And we'll have
Definitely
1
gonna be helpful.
trillion, kind of viral moments coming out of this, no doubt.
There's Talk to Me is by there's a movie that is out now called Bring Her Back. If y'all have seen any previews
Okay.
for that, but maybe now that I've
Maybe.
said it out loud, it'll be on all of our
I'm
like
sure.
social media
Sure.
feeds. But Talk to Me is another possession movie. Hauntings and ghosts are definitely like my favorite type. It was like pretty mainstream movie that I thought also was like I saw it in a packed theater, not expecting to be scared, and then like I walked out. I texted my best friend and I was like, "Do not go see Talk to Me High." Like I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I was terrified
I've
on
made a
like
fatal
an
error,
existential level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But it's a great movie. It's really well made. So,
Do
Oh,
you prefer watching scary movies alone or in groups?
I like to watch them alone.
With a girl.
I like to watch them alone with the girl. I tend to watch them alone. I don't think I've watched a horror movie. I haven't watched a horror movie on a date. Actually, I'll very quickly tell the story. The last time I watched a horror movie on a date, it made me realize that I did not see myself going on another date with this person because
That's
Fantastic
incredible.
litmus
it was
test.
really nice to she kept doing this thing and I thought she was joking, so the first 2 times it happened I laughed really hard,
Oh,
which in
no.
hindsight I'm realizing like she probably felt the same way about me from her perspective. But something would happen in the movie and then 2 to 3 minutes later she would say that thing that had been revealed as if she had
Oh boy.
guessed it. Like there's this movie called Sinister, and it's like revealed in the movie. Spoiler alert! It's
Mhm.
like the ghost gets you when you get to the next house. Like that is like very.
Okay.
It's like these people are being haunted, but it's not going to kill you until you get to the next. Like until you move out.
Mhm.
Very
Yep.
vindictive ghost, and this is very clearly stated. Like the university, like the professor calls the main character and is like, "This is what's happening." A couple minutes later, she looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God." Like, and I'm not trying to be a dick. Literally, she like that. She goes, "Oh my God. I bet the ghost gets them at the next house." And I went,
You're
this
like,
was like
that
the third
bit is
time.
incredible.
I'm like, you are the funniest person I have ever met. And I took a woman in stand-up comedy class. But
And I'm a scholar, so
yeah, and I know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, please. But I was like, yeah, like, that's what the professor said.
Right.
And she was like, "No, he said this." And I was like,
oh boy.
"Oh, we're like, this isn't a, like,
Sure.
oh, okay." And it was just awkward. It was just
Yeah.
like really
Well, right.
painfully
We're not living
awkward.
in the same reality at this point.
Yes, yeah, we're on different planes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I tend to watch. I watch a lot of movies by myself.
It's one of the great solo activities.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
I love getting really stoned and watching a movie because
too.
I also feel like I'm inside the movie a lot of times.
I
Which
should try
is-
that
Oh, it's so fun.
because I get really stoned and like stare at the ceiling and then scroll on TikTok for 5 hours.
Oh, you got to put your phone in the other room. I put my phone
That's
on
so
Do Not
hard.
Disturb. I put it under my pillow on my bed. I go into the living room. And
Isn't
I
it
go,
crazy
"I'm
what
gonna
we
watch
have
a
to
movie
do
right
to
now."
like barricade
I know
ourselves?
it's I
I
even
have
just
to
saying
do
that
the
out
same
loud. I was
thing.
like, that's what I do.
No,
I have
my
to put
New Year's resolution this year, I was like, sleep with your phone in the kitchen underneath the place where you keep and I'm like, what?
Every night I shoot my phone with a gun. So that it
swallow
can't get
your
me.
phone, eat it alive, and then take Miralax in the morning and hope that it comes out.
And if it doesn't, look at you. Less screen
It
time.
is, yeah, no, it's actually so good
Still
for
a
you.
dub.
And that's on here. Yeah. Oh man.
I saw a girl on YouTube who bought a little like box, and you could
With
put
a
your
lock
phone
Is it
in
like the
touch-
key thing?
It's like I don't know. I think it's like the kind that Dave Chappelle makes you put your phone in before you see it.
It's like he's selling it. It's like the Dave Chappelle box.
It's from Dave Chappelle's online e-commerce brand.
Chappelle coin.
But I'm like, the things that now we have to purchase products to
It's such a mess.
Oh my god,
It's crazy.
I'm getting pushed this thing called the brick. It's literally
Oh,
It's-
that's what I'm
I
thinking
think it's
of.
that.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
you like
Yeah.
tap it against your phone and it locks all your apps, and then of course you have to swallow the brick. And
Sure. Yeah.
you have to swallow something
Yes.
in this reality.
Yeah, or
I think
someone
that's
comes.
fair.
and
Of
they-
course. Or they kill you at the next house.
Right. Yeah. Next text, you're dead.
Wow.
I will say, like, as someone who really does not like horror, there is something so it's almost silly, but watching a scary movie in a very packed theater,
Oh, it's the best.
that to me, I'm like, if I'm gonna do it anywhere, it cannot be in my living room. It
Yep.
has to be in an AMC theater.
Yeah.
Like, so I can feel like we're all commiserating, we're all on the
100%.
same page. We've become the body collective,
Yes.
which is that to me, I'm like, I can get behind that.
Completely with
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's so much more fun. I think most movies are more
Yeah.
fun to see in a packed
I
theater.
love
Yeah.
the movie going experience.
Yeah.
And I've never once watched a movie like in my house. Like I can't bring myself. It's not true, but it feels
Yeah,
that
media free
way.
It's
home.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just like I could be doing so many other things. But in a
Yes,
movie
yeah.
theater, you can only do one thing, and it's watch the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
I
They,
guess
like,
I
make you
hadn't
do
been
it.
in a while before I had watched Sinners, but seeing Sinners in a theater, cheering,
Yeah.
like the truly everyone experiencing emotions collectively. It's
Mhm.
like literally I discovered what it is to be around people again.
You're like,
That's how I
Unity's
felt when I
amazing.
went to
Yeah.
see that movie with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. It ends with
That's
us,
with us.
which is a horror movie of its own.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
But there was one point where it was truly Justin Baldoni said something really annoying, and I had a couple glasses of wine at this point, and I just was under my breath was like, oh my god, and like the couple of girls next to me started laughing, and I was like, this is actually like fun now.
We're
Yeah.
together.
We're
freaking out.
Yeah. We're all friends.
Do you want to come on our podcast?
Yeah. And they were like, that girl's actually kind of weird and drunk, but
Are you alone?
She's had 9 glasses of
Yeah.
wine herself.
It was
She
actually kind of a
drinking
tough
that out
night
of
for
a
me.
Ziploc bag. You're like, look away.
She brought that in here.
You're slapping the Bronzia bag. It's like, whoa, girl.
Hey, she said, wear your florals and bring your Franzia.
She did say
So,
that.
yeah.
Just slapping the bag in the
Yeah,
theater.
absolutely.
The hollow sound of a bag slap during it ends with us.
Isabelle, quick gut check.
Yeah.
We have to leave soon.
Oh my God.
I know, it's actually so sad.
This is devastating. I want it to go on forever.
I know.
Okay, well, should we do a very quick round of
Message in a bottle.
to close
Yeah, so
things
we didn't
off?
tell you about this,
Okay,
but
incredible.
Sorry.
Surprise.
at the end of the episode, we always do a little segment called Message in a Bottle, and it's where we give thanks for something little or big in our lives that we want to just like shout out and say thank you.
Ooh, oh, that's
So-
so nice.
I can go.
Yeah, go first, girl.
I was, oh my God, where do I even begin with this? There's a halal cart at the Franklin Sea.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And if you
mhm.
know, you know. And it's been there for time immemorial. And it's my favorite halal cart because the guys are really nice and you get like this huge thing of chicken over rice for like $8. It's like amazing, super good. And then one day, that place where the cart was had all this construction stuff all over it. And it was like the cart was nowhere to be found. And I've been wandering these streets looking for my guy because you can't like look up where is my halal cart. Like it's not like a restaurant. It doesn't have an address.
Right.
So I'm like out here.
By the way, there's an app for that. I feel like that's a
Wait,
market
seriously?
that needs to be filled.
Oh,
No. But like,
I'm like,
where's
I
my
could've
halal?
avoided this
Where's
whole
my
thing.
halal truck?
Yeah.
Someone needs
where
to
is
build
my
that.
halaltruck.com?
Yeah.
Like I'll buy it because I'm realizing that it's a need that needs to be filled in the market. But anyway, today I'm coming home from therapy, having had a very difficult session, and I've had a rough couple of days.
Absolutely.
And I emerge from the subway station, and like I'm at the Taj Mahal. I see the halal cart, and it's in a different little spot.
Oh.
It's right by it's like really on the same block. I don't think that they were operating for a while because they had to find their new place,
Okay.
and I don't really know how it works with like licensing and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But I went up, I immediately approached the guy, and I'm like, "Are you guys are back?" And he was like, "Yeah, like there's construction over there." I was like, Yeah, no.
I saw that.
This has been a really tough couple of weeks for me.
Where'd you go?
They're like,
And-
lady, there is a big line.
There was like a guy standing there, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't care.
This is about me right now.
Yeah, sorry. I had to have my moment of like appreciation and happiness
But of
with the
course.
guy. And he was delighted to see me as well. And so it was a really nice moment. But anyway, my message in a bottle goes out to that halal cart. Thank you for still existing, for finding your place, rightful place by the Franklin Sea where you belong.
Oh, I'm so happy you
That's
found
so
them. What's
good.
your halal cart order? Out of
Chicken over
curiosity?
rice.
You
Mm.
gotta white sauce on
both
top.
sauce. I
Absolutely.
usually
Of
do
course.
red sauce on the side
Oh,
because
Just in case.
I'm a little bit of a wimp when it comes to the red sauce.
sure. But and also, what's better than dipping, controlling?
I
Love
like
it.
to, yeah, I just
Controlled
like, I like to
substance
vibes.
pour, I like to pour it over, but like in my own, with
Sure,
my own hands.
in your own time.
You know,
True.
because
You
they
only trust
look at
your
me,
own
they
hands.
see a white girl, they know what to do, but
Yeah.
sometimes I want to relieve them of the burden, you know, of
Sure.
figuring out
Just
my,
put it on the side.
Yeah.
get on the side.
And maybe
They,
a
like,
little
tape it
milk.
shut.
Maybe a little guy some milk.
And maybe some milk while you're at it. Thank you. Love you.
You're like dropping
They're
an
like,
AirPod
so
in
that's
the-
why
or
we
an
moved.
AirTag. Yeah.
They're like, we were actually hoping you would never find us, but
Yeah.
She's back. The love you girl is back.
Love you too, I guess. Yeah, I guess we gotta buy some milk. She's back.
anyway, so that's my message in a bottle. Thank you guys.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
that's
them.
great. That's so nice.
Do you want to go?
Sure. Well, actually, speaking of milk, my message in a
Ooh.
bottle goes to drinking things out of a carton out of the fridge. I have recently, along with Parker, decided to keep an extra large thing of coconut water in our fridge,
Love that.
and it sits in the bottom shelf.
Is it
along-
Vita?
It's
Vita
it's
Coco?
cocoa. It's cocoa. Cocoa
Okay.
water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Vita Coco.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
right. Isn't
so
that what
it's-
it's called? I guess it's called
It's
Vita,
the
not
blue and
Vita.
green,
I thought it was Vita too.
not Vita.
Continue.
No, I think y'all are talking about the same
talking
thing.
about
I
the
just
We're
same
thought
talking
it
about the
was-
same.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's in the blue and green
Yes.
large carton
Yeah.
for sure.
It's iconic.
There's one that comes in like a clear bottle, and the juice is like kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
pink.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, I don't like knowing what it actually looks
Don't
like.
show it
I
to
want
me.
it shrouded.
I want an
Yeah,
opaque,
I want
yeah.
it to be hidden. So yeah, I keep it in the fridge, and every now and then I take it out and I swig it like a 16-year-old boy,
Mm.
and nothing has made me feel more powerful
That's awesome.
or refreshed. And so my message in a bottle goes to drinking cold things out of cartons.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's a really good and specific one.
Thank you.
I feel like we did both have like consuming food related,
sure.
content. which is always good. One time mine was fruit, I think.
Yes, it was
Just-
clementines.
Clementine.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love clementines. Little halos.
Little,
Oh,
those
baby.
little of course, the little halos.
Yeah.
Those little girls are
God's
cute.
plan.
I love them.
Ash, do you have a message in a bottle?
I guess my message in a bottle could be okay. It's been raining a lot.
Yep.
Raining a lot here in New York. I got my dog a raincoat for the first
Your dog is
time.
so cute.
Whoa.
Thank you so much. Love that man. He's my biological son.
Love that man.
And I got him a yellow raincoat, and he looked so cute in it that I like. At first, I was like, "Oh, you look so cute," like kind of like jokingly, and then I like fully had a moment. I was like,
Yeah, man, that's
Oh,
my, that's my
oh,
big girl
shit.
boy.
"That's my boy." I mean, man.
Yeah.
That's my man.
Did
Go-
he
going outside.
take to it?
Loves it. Doesn't even think. Pulled the little hood up and everything. He looks like Madeline.
Oh.
He's out there like Madeline.
Oh
My favorite thing in the world is when dogs know they're a little handsome. Like we gave my dog a bandana, and like all of a sudden, like
Now
the
he's
chest
personal.
is a little
Yeah,
rounder.
puffed out,
Like,
yeah.
you know what you've done.
You know.
Yeah, you know your mommy's handsome boy.
Yeah. So I guess my message in a bottle goes out not just to my dog, but maybe specifically to this little
The
yellow
jacket.
raincoat that is reversible and has rubber duckies on the inside.
Oh
So
boy,
didn't even
that's
know
not
that.
breaking.
Duckies.
I didn't even know that. I got it and I was like, okay.
Yeah, had I known.
Well, and there's nothing like more devastating than like buying a functional and cute piece of clothing for your dog and then having the dog
Love it.
hate it.
Oh yeah, and trying to like
sure.
shake it off and everything.
right, and like not
yeah.
be able, and you have to get the picture, and like you just
Gotta get the
want
picture.
them to like it because you ultimately you're buying it for them. It's a
It's
gift.
like I
Exactly.
saw
This
it
is
and I
for
thought
you.
of you.
Yeah.
Don't
and
you
you're
understand my
rejecting
human
it.
words?
Right.
Yeah, talk to me.
So I love to hear that both of your dogs are taking
Well, I
to
need a
their
raincoat
Yeah,
clearly
I'm like,
for
you.
my boy.
I've had my dog for a couple of years, and I was like, I don't need a jacket. just do it for you.
I'm buying.
And
Yeah, for me, it's for
you.
me. Yeah.
I like when they have the little rain boots on their paws too. A
Oh,
lot of
they
times they
walk
really hate those,
Like
but
little
cute.
monsters.
Yeah, they're so
cute.
Yeah, like they're walking on a typewriter or something. It's the cutest
They're
thing
like
taps.
ever.
That's so
Wait.
cute.
I have to know the dog's name and breed immediately.
His name is Boogie, and he is like a husky shepherd mix.
Okay, perfect mix.
Yeah,
Perfect
he's
mix alert.
really actually the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
I
Carey.
want
That's
to
so
meet
good.
him
Yeah.
soon.
You should meet him. He does better around women than men. He's like a rescue.
He loves women in comedy.
Yeah, he does.
Just like Papa.
Famously.
Like father, like son.
Just like Papa.
It's true. just like his dad.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Yeah.
Well, hey, didn't mean to like close on a predatorial note. It's been a
Very
true
fitting.
pleasure.
It's
What a
been
delight.
So nice. Yeah. Thanks for having
Of
me, y'all.
course, I wish we could keep going. But
Ash-
Connor's begging us.
Yeah,
to
Connor
leave.
has to go. Connor needs his work-life balance and to go
sure.
tend to the worms.
To the worms, of course.
Of course.
Ash, do you have anything you'd like to plug, or where can people find you?
Oh gosh, I guess you can follow me on any social media of your choosing at @ashdigs_. Handles the same.
Don't forget the
across.
underscore.
Don't forget the underscore. You
Oh,
might
dear.
find a different Ash Diggs, and there's more of us than you think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the main thing. And
Cool.
if you're in New York, I'm out and about.
Go to one of his shows. He's booked and busy, and see Boogie out there somewhere with his
That's on
raincoat.
Carl
Oh,
Jung.
my eyes will be peeled. Trust that.
Well, I guess we're signing off.
We're signing off. What a treat. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, y'all.
You're the best.
I had a
And
great
you're the
time.
best.
And you're the best.
And collectively, we are
We
the
the
best.
best.
Jake
Okay.
Salad.
Bye.
Bye.